Okay, so it says this to decide whether this matrix A and matrix, if you multiply it with B, if it's defined. So defined means you can do it. So when they write this order like that, it's order's very important, because that means we put matrix A first and then we multiplied matrix B. So if you look at it, this one was a 2 by 2 and this was a 2 by 3. So remember I said for it to be defined, these two numbers needed to be equal, the same. And are they the same?
Yeah.
Yes. So then we would say, yes, it's defined. So we can go say, is it defined? Yes, it is defined. And let's just write why, because sometimes they ask you that in a test or an exam and you need to justify it. So what you say, yes, it's defined, and you're going to say because the columns I should say the number of columns, sorry, in matrix A is equal to the number of rows in matrix B. Okay, so you must write that if they say explain why it is defined. So you know how I've done this over here in the green? That doesn't count, but that's just me quickly showing you, yes, it's defined. Because if you're not asked to explain, you just need to know it's defined and off you go. But if you're asked to explain, do not do this equal sign. Do this little statement. You need the statement. That's what year 12, that's what they're looking for. So make sure you put that. So, and then it asked me for my answer. What would my answer be? So if we remember, the answer comes from the rows of the first and the columns. So the order of the answer, so AB would have an order of a 2 by 3. Okay, so there's that. So let's have a look. Now we know they're defined. Now we know what the answer is. Now we're going to look at actually calculating some manually. So when I say manually, it means without your calculator. You need to know. So we're going to run, and what we say is they'll say this run and dive technique, and you just keep repeating it until you finish. So let's have a little go so that you can see what's happening. So we are going to say, they're saying using for the following matrices, perform the matrix multiplication to find C. So they're saying C is we're going to multiply A by B. So what we're going to write out here, what we're going to write out is A, 3, 1, -5, and 2. It's going to get multiplied by B. So I'll write that out, -7, -1, 5, 1, 4, and 10. So what we're going to do first is, like we must do all the time, is we're going to check what the order, if it can be done. So a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 3. Can it be done? Yeah, these equal. And what will my answer be? A 2 by? No, it takes this one and this one. A 2 by 3. So what you want to do is, when we're manually doing this, give yourself a lot of room. So what I'm saying is, here, my answer is going to be a 2 by 3. So essentially, what you're going to have is you're going to have an element, you'll have an element here. So it's a 2 by 3. Oops, sorry. And then you have 2 rows and 3 elements. So sometimes you don't have to draw them I just generally draw them lightly, but just to show you, we'll have 6 elements in our answer. So if you think about it, is this one, if I was labeling this element here, would you call this one, it's in row 1, column 1? Would you agree? Yeah. So sometimes I find the manual multiplication find it easy to go, right, if I'm in this spot here, so I'm going to say I'm in this spot here, because I'm in row 1, it means I'm using row 1. Doesn't like me. It doesn't want to highlight it. No. Sorry. So I'm using row 1 with column 1 on the second one. So the first one tells me what row and then which column in the second matrix to do. So what happens is those numbers, we're going to see 3 is going to get multiplied with -7. So that one with that one. And then the 1 gets multiplied, and then you add 1 getting multiplied with 1. So here, if you look at it, I'm still in row 1, but column 2. So I'm going to go 3 by the -1 in the column, the second column. So I'll change the color for you so you can see. So I'm doing this one in purple. So I've got to do this row with this column. Okay? So I've got 3 times -1 plus 1 times 4. Okay? And then I'm gonna rub this out a bit because I didn't have enough room. Okay, so I'll draw my bigger box. Okay, so then the last one in this last row, so if you think about it, this guy is row 1, column 3. So I'm going to use row 1 from the first and column 3 from the second. And then you remember those numbers get multiplied and added to each other. So we've got 3 times 5 plus 1 times 10. Okay? And then what you could do is you just keep simplifying that out, because then you could do that. So if you have a look, 3 times, I might just do it. So 3 times -7 would be -21 plus 1. That's this little one in the blue. Then in the center, I'd have -3 plus 4. And here I'd have 15 plus 10. So, and then we'll keep going and we'll get the final bit. And that would be -21 and 25. So I've done the first row there. So let's go and do the second column, or second row, sorry. So if you look here, this guy is row 2, column 1. So it's going to be row 2, column 1. So off I go. I've got -5 times -7 plus 2 times 1. Okay? And then the next one, this one is row 2, column 2. So it'll be -5 times -1 plus, sorry, I'll give myself a bit more room. So -5 times -1 plus 2 times, what was that, 4. Okay, and this last one would be -5 times 5 plus 2 times 10. Okay, so over here, -5 times -7 is +35. So that's 35 plus 2 there. This one would be 5 plus 8. Yeah, and this one's -25 plus 20. So I could tidy them up. That'll be 37. This will be 13, thank you. And this one will be -5. All right, so that's a manual way. Let's check quickly on our calculator whether we got the right answer. So what I'm going to do here, I'll do a clean page for us. So we're going to pop in that A matrix. Oops, I'm going to use that quick key. So it's 3, 1, -5, and 2. Then I'm going to multiply it by B, which was a 2 by 3, wasn't it? I can't see it. Yeah. So 2 by 3. Okay, and we had -7, -1, 5, 1, 4 and 10. So if we pop that in, so this is how you can do it on the calculator. If they're not showing you, making you do it manually, they're not saying show calculations, you can just do it like that. And is that what we got for our answer? Yep. That's good. So we're on track. So just quickly, we have to know that in matrix, remember I said order is very important, because what happens is A times B is not the same as B times A. And why we're saying that is because if you think in normal multiplication, if we go 2 times 3, that's 6, and 3 times 2 is still the same, isn't it? It's 6. But that's not the case in matrix. So if you looked at this, if we had this one, the scenario above, we had A times B, which was a 2 times 2 with a 2 times 3. So that one was defined, and it produced AB, which was a 2 by 3. If I try to do B times A, I end up with a 2 by, going crooked there. So I end up with a 2 by 3 with a 2 by 2. Now, is this one defined? No, you can't do it. So if you try to do it on your calculator as well, it will say the word undefined. So because these two numbers did not equal, so if they said why is it not defined, you'd say because the columns don't equal the number of rows. So if you were to say yep, that's undefined because of that, and so you can't do that one. So order is very important.